Hey people, welcome back. Yes, let us begin with a very new topic which you'll be using a lot in C, not only in C, in every new language you'll be learning. So, which is functions, as you can see it already. So, what is a function? So, basically, a function is a group of statements that perform a given task. And each and every C program has a minimum of one function, which is the main function. You've already used it a million number of times. So main function is a function. So what exactly can you do with functions? So when you have a huge program and you know very confusing and complicated, we divide things up and make sure it gets easier for us. So exactly like that, we have functions to do the work here. So you can divide each of your tasks into one of the function and then declare them and then define them and you can call them. So as you can see here, we have function definition, function call, and function declaration. So as you've seen in the previous slide, well, that's the basic syntax on how to declare a function. So you'll have the function name. Before that, you'll have the return type of the function. Just like data types, for int you have int, and for character you'll have char character. Just like that, if your function is going to return a number or an integer, you will define your function. You'll give the return type as int. If your function does not return any sort of information or data back, you give void because there's nothing, and then you give your function name. And now, what are arguments? So, basically, to do an operation or to perform an operation, you require certain basic information. And how do you get the information? If I declare my function here and then I need the information somewhere else, so what do? You pass them on through arguments. So remember, arguments are very important and we'll be handling them further a lot. So that's how you declare a function. Okay, and now let's check out the body part of the function. So the task you have to execute comes under the body of the function. If I have to add two numbers, I'd put it in the body of the function. And once my function is defined and everything is done, I have to use it, right? How do I use it? Where do I use it from? Or how do I even get my function into another function? So that's when we use function call, and we'll check all of these things out. And we have function declaration also. So let's check them out in the program. You'll understand it way better. And you'll find it super easy too. So here is my function. So this is the easiest code I could come up with so you can understand everything. So I'll be declaring my function first, and my function name is add. Its return type is void, and I've given my parameters as int a, int b, or else I can just pass the data type also. The main aim of it is to pass the type of data you'll be passing through the function. So I have my header file. That's how you declare a function. So let's start the coding. So this is my header file, hash include stdio.h. And now we shall declare the function. So my return type of the function is going to be int and addition, right? So add, and my parameters are going to be int a, int b, or I can simply just give int and int. So let me give the body of the function. So I'll be using another variable called, it's a local variable for the function add, right? So it's int, and its job is to add these two parameters and return the result. My result is int. Therefore, my return type for the function is going to be int. That's what I was telling you about the return type before. Now let's declare a main function. So any C program cannot execute without the main function. So we have our main function right here. And what is my job here? So I declare, I already declared and defined my function. So I'll have to take an input for my numbers, right? So let me take the input with print. So I've given int number 1, number 2, and I'll be taking the numbers from my scanf statement. It'll read the input from the user, and now we shall pass the parameters by storing the value into result. So my result will be equal to add number 1 comma number 2. So this is known as calling the function. So you call the function like this in the main function, or in any other function you call the function, you define, you write the name, you type the name of the function, and then you call. That's how you do it. And let me print out my statement and let's run the code. As you can see, enter the values of numbers. So let me enter them, and yep, see, I got my output. So basically when I enter those two numbers, they've gone to result equal to add my both numbers. So these numbers have passed the value to the function right here, to int add. So these numbers are passed here, and the calculation of the result takes place, and the return, this result is now given back and is exactly stored in the result in my main function. So this is as simple as it can be. Functions are very easy. You have to know how to declare them. Like I've mentioned before, what are parameters? So parameters are the values you'll be using within the function. And there are, as you call the function, there are certain ways where you can send this data from one function to another. So there are two such ways, which is pass by value and pass by reference. So in C by default it is pass by value, and what I've done in the previous program is also pass by value. So what basically I do is I take the input from the user in the main function, right? And I pass the value to the function, and the value within the function gets altered, and I get my required result. Whereas in pass by reference, you send the address of the value that you'll be using to the function, and then within the function the address is accessed through pointers, therefore you get the value, and then you perform the operations that are required. So you have pass by value and pass by reference. As you can see in the image here, which is very neatly shown what exactly happens in pass by value and pass by reference. So let's see the code for this. So I'll first be showing you pass by value. So let's take a very simple program. I'll be using the same program for both. And I think we've done this program before as well. Even an odd number, right? So let's see. You can perform pass by value very easily. There's nothing as hard as you think it is. So let's begin, and let me give my function name, which is even, and I'll give my parameter or argument, so which is int here, and That is my function declaration. I've declared my function. I'm not going to define it yet. I'll define it later. So my main function will take a number and so my print statement. So I have to give a command to my user to enter the number. So what happens in pass by value is the value gets duplicated and any changes of the value within the called function will not reflect in any changes in the main function. There won't be any changes, it will just take the value and perform, or if there are any changes, it will be within the function, and once it comes out of the function, there's nothing else. So I've called my function s equal to even of the number. I'm passing my value num here, and I'm using my conditional statements. So if s is equal to 0, it's going to be even, else it shall be odd, right? Yeah, little error there. So quotes it is. Yeah, and let's move on to our function definition, or else called as function body. So for that also you have to again int even. It's going to be int I'll not use number because I've used it already. I don't want to confuse you. I can even use number actually. So let me use a. So I'll have to declare a variable to store my value. So I'll throw it in res. So res equal to. So I have to find if it's even or not, right? So I take a mod 2. So I'll return res. Res is int, therefore my return type of the function is int. Let's execute the program. Yep. So enter the number. Let me enter the number. And yep. So that's exactly what happens when I enter the number. It passes on to the function s equal to even num. So that number is passed and it directly gets put in this function right here, and the entire body is executed. And then stored in result, and it's returned back to s. So let's say call by reference. Before we venture into call by reference, let's see what exactly are pointers. So pointers are nothing but a variable or that points to the particular address that you initialize it with. So how do you declare a pointer? You give data type, asterisk, and pointer name, just like this, and end it with semicolon. And let me initialize the pointer to my variable, which is going to be ampersand e. So what does ampersand do? It gives the address of the value a, which means it will give, now the pointer has the address of the variable a, right? Now let me print out the value of a, and let me print out with star ptr. What star ptr has? Star ptr has the value of the address. So here it's going to be 10, right? So if I execute it, I should be getting 10 and 10 because star ptr will have the value of the address. Isn't me the value? Let me make it more neat. It will have the value of the address that is pointing to. So if I remove my asterisk there and only pass ptr, it will give me the address where the value a is stored. You see, that's exactly how pointers work. So let's come back to our program of call by value. So in call by value, I've passed it via values. Now let me use my pointers here. So I'm going to use pointers in my parameters. So in my very first function declaration, I'll use a pointer right there. And then let me come to my function definition as well. So I'll use a pointer, and then in result is equal to star a mod 2. And now to this pointer I need to pass a value, right? And how do I do that? I do it using ampersand symbol while I'm calling the function. Therefore, every time I pass the value, it'll take the value of the address and it'll get retrieved by using the pointer. And let me execute it. Yes, you can see right here, same code has been executed. When I pass the value that I've entered to my pointer a, it gets the value from that address and sends it to the calling function, and the function gets executed